it's time now to get into game number 39 here of Phase 2 for PEL as we have our plane descending. We're going to be going to Erangel and we're heading over to Pansy and Demon for all of the plays and all of the rotations. Let's go.
Yes, here we go. Straight into it, onto Erangel, match 39. We've got a long way to go, but we're closing in on the halfway point. We're already seeing teams breaking that 300 barrier. The plane going over South Georgia Pole straight down to Milton Power. Most teams will find their locations. We're seeing Unity and Reciprocity going back to North George as we've seen before.
Not too surprising. It was an adjustment that happened kind of, I guess, early mid-season off that consistent battle. Reciprocity finally finding a bit of a home there. And let's have a little look how this plays out. I want to see how this splits, because one of the CrowCrowd players is very close by. Set might be looking for a vehicle here, and that could be a bit of a problem. Rafi is doing somewhat of a similar thing. Not too worried about the team actually in North Georgia.
And with two teams, Rafi's lost out on it as well. With two teams there, it can be quite tricky.
No,
he's found one as well. Okay. With two teams there, obviously that is the point, right? You're battling for vehicles effectively, which is a bit cheekier set. Hello, where's Rafi going? Are they going to the same location now?
Might be going to the Foursquare.
Yeah. So Rafi's got there first, so Set's pulled away from that. That was Set's loot drop. He normally goes there, so that's caused a problem for CrowCrowd. But they've got the entirety of Savernian shooting range they can go to. You can see Rafi just taking a couple of wild shots on the back of him, and it is going to be a Gatka circle.
Okay, perfectly fine. And because I haven't seen the new Erangel, I'm a little sad because I'd love to have a little think about that. There's been some really cool things already found out, like a couple of new areas that have been added and
breakable doors, stuff like that.
I want to try it so badly. I might just kick one of the pros off the PCs and just change it.
I don't know if you can do it there. They don't have internets.
I'll put an Ethernet cable in. That's how it works.
Just put a cable in. Just drag one across from production. Get out of the way. Production PCs, you can do that.
That is true. There we go. Sorted.
There you go.
No, I want to watch back a stream of someone playing it. I want to see what they've.
Well, there is plenty of footage available. I believe Break has been streaming it for 14 hours.
I'll be very distracted by the cam then. You see the issue.
That's it, right?
I want to focus on the content, Lee. All right? Don't make this difficult.
Well, I think K-Mine has been streaming it a fair bit.
Everyone out there. You saying K-Mine's not a pretty boy?
No, he's a pretty boy as well.
Well,
I wasn't saying that.
Heard it here
I
first.
didn't suggest it. You suggested.
Unbelievable. No, I'm kidding.
If you get distracted by that, then there we go. But
okay, so if, I assume most people have seen the trailer by now. They're kind of like, the little content that they added onto, not just like the kind of video reveal where you can do the running across the roofs and you get that kind of like
the jump, the ledge jump
up.
Yeah, ledge jump.
Oh, Pachinki with that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
There's actually a lot of
really
opportunities,
excited.
especially with George Paul as well. There's a lot.
It
ledge jumping
so
could work
much.
so much.
Because the thing is as well, these players, these teams will be meticulous in how they look through this map. There'll be so many new angles to play from.
There's so many new roofs.
Exactly. Yeah. Elevation becomes such a thing, which is what I love about this sort of thing. It feels more battle royale.
Think of the 17 gaming Team Liquid battle that took place in Pachinki. Throw in those ledge jumps. It's going
to be lovely because this was something that was actually being talked about on the desk. Is that obviously people when you talk about skill.
What are we going to call these, by the way? They're not yellow anymore. They're light blue.
We're gonna have to
all these yellow houses have been painted and changed. Someone's gone round the whole of Erangel painting them blue.
But no, I was saying, this is something that was brought up on the desk by Froz. That when we talk about mechanical skill, it's not, people just think aim, right? Which is a really easy jump, but it is also movement ability and kind of the fluidity to it. And I think this will, again, create another kind of skill element to which I love. I used to love the old jumping mechanics because it adds a little bit of a nuance to it that not everyone can do it, but if you're good at it and you work at it, you can do it. Yeah. And things like that just really, really make this so exciting. Anyway.
Cool. I remember we didn't have vaulting in the game, so that was.
It was rough.
The amount of times you run into a wall and went, nope, didn't make it that time. Couldn't quite get that crouch jump. But then people argued that crouch jumping is a skill, therefore it should be staying in the game.
I would like it to have stayed in it. I would have liked it. I like a bit of both. Yeah, I know. I want both.
The keep going, right? Yeah, that kind of works.
Exactly. I'd love to see a bit of that. Bit of a Jeemsy, careful
now. Is he coming back in for this? He is. He's coming. Oh, that's going to be risky.
Wait, no, it's not.
No, Jorski.
What have you done to him, you absolute animal?
Oh, bless him.
That's so rude,
First one down. Poor little Jorski as well. Little Jorski. What's he ever done to you? What's he ever done? Just carrying on. Well, okay, so we were talking about this, obviously. This is pure, exactly what we're talking about. Winstrike little too slow,
God,
little
don't do it to
greedy.
Nookie as well.
They've got too greedy. They've gone for these singular compounds, trying to get too much of a greedy spread.
My God,
comes
they're
around,
going wild.
and TL are basically punishing Winstrike for being too greedy, trying to take too much territory, and it's working.
What is this, Team Liquid?
Winstrike are like, group up now! Look, Timmy's going to Tixu, is like, get in now! Just support me!
What on... dude, is this scrims? Have we just accidentally watched a scrim? Like, what is that? This is the Pro League! What are you doing?
Greedy territory.
Oh, I love a bit of that, though.
But I like it. I like that teams are starting to get punished for it. Now, instead of like just the standard one guy shoots and they're like, oh, okay, back away from it. I mean, obviously, it worked because 4 members of Team Liquid were coming in. It wasn't just a solo,
Yeah.
although it kind of was with Jeeves to start with. But it is obviously opening up a varying amount of real estate. We're seeing Digital Athletics looks like they're going to try. They're going North Chopsticks, yeah, so they're going to go into that North Chopsticks compound. TL are in the South Chopsticks. What I'm talking about Chopsticks is the 2 trenches, you guys kind of know these days. Vitality, they're going into the yellows, Reciprocity up into the compound. Or actually, they're actually going to stay on Mountain, it seems. Vitality probably want the compound just south of Mountains. I'm not too sure where they're going to stick at yellows, though.
We'll see. Again, there's still... It's not as far north as... Obviously, if this circle goes any further north, the hillside gets littered. Interesting rotation from TSM here.
So I can only imagine that they had a conflict with G2. There was some sort of contact at some point. They have kind of been rubbing shoulders a fair amount at the sort of crossroads area of Milta. So not too surprising. So it looks like TSM have kind of been forced away from that one. Whether G2 maybe we even said in compound, we obviously didn't see. We were focusing on Team Liquid, putting some poor, I think Winstrike can have little nightmares over that one.
Well, Winstrike have gone away for the entirety of the season. It feels like this is where we're starting to see teams really develop the more micro plays that make a big difference. Like maybe TSM now realize that when it is this sort of circle, we can rotate through the bridge because the path's open. They've been reviewing the VODs. They've been looking everything over. Vitality taking over the compound that we often see them in.
Yeah,
very successful
expected them to go to this one. Yeah, we're Reciprocity, but I think they kind of just pulled up a little bit. Ooh, that was a bit risky, Jazza. Shadow's like, ooh, this car's kind of running past me. That's why we see people get knocked, by the way, things like that. The Knights coming over just north of Potato. ENCE and Razor Edge still coming way, way late from the northern side, obviously. Looks like Razor Edge are around shooting range at the moment. ENCE are not even that far away. They're just coming over to Yasnaya north side. Here's TSM coming over the bridge. We saw they had gone for this split, but look at G2's split. They have one guy watching. So Kane's watching TSM come over the bridge there. They've got 2 in Pachinki by the church, and Udir is on the Pachinki hill south of Pachinki. So the Knights that are about to come by, I think, are being watched by G2.
I'm not sure if they're set up for it.
No, I'm not too sure. They were on the vehicles on the move.
Send spreading out FaZe. Very easy to split that hillside, though. A lot of this kind of like bumpier terrain, which actually in the update seems quite good. There's a lot of that like newer terrain added. A little bit, I don't say Miramar
shows it, which is great for us.
Exactly. God, a bit of topography. Oof. I used to love that in the old DayZ maps. I literally printed out a DayZ map.
So G2 pulled out, and the Knights have actually gone into the north side of Pachinki now. FaZe and Navi still just trading blows. This is on the hillsides just outside of Team Liquid. They took over those south compounds. So we'll see where the circle shrinks to. ENCE and Razor Edge both coming in. It's going to be the east and west bridges that they head for. Razor Edge going North George at the moment for the west bridge. Crate. It's going to be pretty nice. Org going over to TSM. That's the benefits you get of going way around the map, down a quarry, south of quarry, and Shiv, hello.
You already got on one, yeah.
It's Scoom that's caught Tab out, and he's in the open there, I think.
Yeah,
or was he inside yellows? I can't tell. Set's going to try and get shots on instead.
Bit awkward.
Okay, circle shrink. Goes into pretty standard spot, goes into Gatka, Chopsticks. Everybody else is relatively happy. It does mean that a lot of teams, and M19 I think are going to crash in towards Gatka, or at least the compound maybe just outside of it. Team Liquid are going for the same compound.
Yeah, I just realised Gustav's just got a whole lot of level 3s.
Team Liquid are going to Gatka. They're going to crash onto Winstrike. M19 have just pulled up in the compound to the side there. They know that Winstrike only have 2, so they're aware that this is a fight that could go their way. And they caught Timmy with the car.
Oh, Winstrike, this is heartbreaking to watch. I've never seen a game go so badly for a couple of players. That's a shot, though, if he's going to get punished.
Yeah.
That could be a closer of a nade, too. I don't think he's going to get away from that. That was ticked a little, too.
He's
gone down.
Well, M19 had NIP pull up. They've pulled up into the yellows, gone for a 2-2, that wide 2-2 that they tend to go for NIP. They have got one knock, but they should get back on their feet. D-Mash catches Samty out as well, so Team Liquid got to be careful here. You can see the shots coming in the backside into his brother. Gemty trying to get him back on his feet. Meanwhile, looks like DA, they're catching CrowCrowd on the rotate there as well. FaZe Clan have decided to go north, so they've gone to the compound just... well, you can see it right on your screen now. I don't need to explain exactly where it is, but it is just outside of Pachinki Hill. G2 and the Knights are clashing on that Pachinki Hill as Set's down to nothing.
Gosh, Set's in trouble. That car's smoking too. He's going to have to make a choice pretty soon, and it's a dangerous one. Not sure how many people have vision on this. Couple more coming in, and we've got to look towards the northwest as well. Raise Your Edge going to be trying to find their way through. It looks like Set's found his home anyway. CrowCrowd is safe enough for now.
I'm not too sure where Raise Your Edge can go because TSM have just pulled up on that side. They're actually going for antenna, TSM. They're going deeper. They're going deeper into the ult to get into antenna. You can see ENCE, they're creeping up on the mountain next to Reciprocity as Samty. Was that finished off? That may have been finished off there. It was another knock, I think, maybe. No, he's just been knocked, so Gemty must have got him back up, and he's going to have to get revived again. So this crash has not worked out as well as they'd like. Here's the Kar 98 shot. There it is on Samty.
That's actually pretty sick. But also, why are you peeking that? What are you going to get out of it? I mean, this is always the interesting thing. When we come down to kind of smaller areas, and these teams know it so well, they know the ground that they're on. What is the benefit of him peeking like that? Maybe trying to get the loot off Ibby potentially, I don't know, but it really was a bit of a misstep. And it does get punished. These teams will punish you. Tixu, just trying to stay alive. He might get pushed now. That's the next thing that's probably on the cards. And yeah, there it is. They want to get rid of him. He's already causing too much of a problem. They're at the lower side of this. And Tixu is focused on Samty again.
He can flush him there. Oh, he's not going to though. He's going to try and hop out the back. The nade from Gemty's took Jeems down. Tixu could take them out. Jeems is the last man standing.
Tixu's seen this on the kill feed. He has to know this. He has to know there's a potential for this, but he can't find a safe way down. Unless he risks something terrible.
Samty's gone. Tixu's finished him off. So he's bled out. Remember, Samty's been down twice already. That nade is going to drop on your feet. Tixu, careful. Smoke goes down. Going to try and hop out. Oh, remember, it was Tixu and Winstrike that got 4v1 last time by VOD. So he's going to make sure. He see if he can do it.
That's a nice angle. That's a really tasty angle. Team Liquid, this is an absolute travesty of a round. They were doing so well, and it felt like they kind of had the wind in the sails, just kind of fight everything, we're going to win it, and maybe overconfidence in the situation. And again, you want that with a team to a degree. You want to keep that sort of confidence with players that they take these fights, but they still have to be smart with decisions, and I feel like they lapsed in judgment there and underestimated what one player can do.
I feel all these teams that are down on the east now are all going to be crashing on the mountain. We'll see where FaZe go. FaZe tend to go for the yellows. There is that ditch, of course, by the mountain just ahead of it, which they might head for. But they're going to have heads above them. Here we go. Tixu getting pushed. Got one down. Couldn't get the trade, though. And Gemty will finish him off, so he's back on his feet. But that's a lot of knocks. And look at this. M19 have already moved in to Gatka.
Yeah, DA are doing the same thing as well, though. There are two squads turning up, and Iroh is in a hurry to turn into this one. There's the knock instantly. Team Liquid are done for here. Jeems is down to basically a one-shot, 10 HP. Does have nades, does everything that he can do, but you can see DA already in the building. They'll be more worried about M19 than Jeems at this point. Back on his feet, he can try and be a nuisance, but there's so many threats everywhere. Iroh has no idea he's in here, I'm pretty sure. That's probably the only threat that this could pose, is that they have no idea that he's in this house.
Well, they will now, because he's about to toss that nade out, hoping to try and catch them. That's gone very well. Actually caught Iroh a chunk there. Forces him to back away. Just comes around. There's nades coming his way as well. Reciprocity getting shots. They've actually crashed onto Vitality's compound. Reciprocity have pushed down the mountain onto them because FaZe went for the mountain.
Jeems now make his way around the lower floor, trying to keep DA on their toes. And oh no, this is going from bad to worse. Jeems has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's Reciprocity on the receiving end of Vitality. You can see them in the bottom right here. Good angles being held from Nasus under the assumption that someone's got his right side there, so Rafi or Haxedi can't make a push on it.
Continuing, M19 starting to get an angle on this as well, so DA, you've got to be careful they don't get backstabbed here. There you go, you can see D-Mash landing a couple of those shots on beautiful death. Sixmo also catching a novel. There's another shot landed, so they really need to deal with Jeems ASAP and help out their other two teammates. Jeems still getting nades. He keeps collecting them wherever he goes. He's on the move. Now he goes down. So that's going to be a 15th place for Team Liquid. It was looking so good when at the start, but it's all gone wrong.
Yeah, it's gone terribly wrong. And this fight's going to continue as well. This is not you can share this with two teams, you just don't want to. Same with Vitality and Reciprocity. What a continuing battle that one is.
Na'Vi went for the 2-2 as well in the houses, so they're watching M19. So M19 forcibly can't push onto DA because Navi have this sort of angle. Now back in towards the hillside. Obviously, ENCE now have G2 creeping up their backs. FaZe went for the aggressive play and got the hillside. It forced Reciprocity down onto Vitality. NIP Claps, they've got their compound. It's a standard compound for them. Unity happy just outside Hospital. Raise Your Edge further out. And TSM...
Could be a nice nade.
They've still got 2-2. They've gone on Antenna and Swamp. That's going to be Dimash. No, it's gone too far, right?
Yeah. Keeping him pinned in there, though, but I don't see anyone else trying to work with this. Then the shot on the pan means he's going to have to back away now.
All right, circle shrink. Where's it go? Does it force them onto the mountain? That's where it tends to go from this circle. It is. Oh, that's a horrible shift. That's a
Still got a lot of North in there.
hard shift for phase 5. Is it phase 4, 5? That's a big nade. Ooh, yeah, that's caught him out. G2 going to take Mikaz down. He'll get finished as well from that position. And G2 going to keep pushing on the hillside. Raise Your Edge making the jump. They're going towards the compound south of Hospital. Unity in the central point and NIP. Everybody on this east has to make moves.
Yeah, and this is what I wanted to say. The G2 are very strong at these sort of positions and these sort of plays. I wonder if those nades from ENCE do any sort of damage. And it feels like it's been too little too late. And you got Chris coming up against you. The beast of Europe gets put down by Rustamar.
That's a good flank.
Season's animal, but there looks like there is another position coming through. The Molotov not quite finding its place, but it's FaZe coming in with that third party trying to clean up what was started.
Yeah, Rustamar trying to do what he can, but as you see, FaZe sweeping in and picking up the points. The Knights, they're going for the ditch across the road, so now with them there, that causes a problem for both Na'Vi, M19, and DA. CrowCrowd also need to make a move.
The one thing I would say, that ditch becomes very relevant later game. I think that there's still threats to it when you have so many teams to the south of you. Again, it's such a hard balance to move there at the correct times.
Oof.
Right now, the Knights are suffering.
Worked, yeah,
it's a very hard position to hold, and you've got so many angles to worry about. You've got the entirety of the south moving towards you potentially, and all those normal teams you have to worry about, like NIP, like Vitality, still have lines of sight towards it. M19 under the gun from DA, but it's traded back in here. Digital Athletics still hold on, and with that knock on Shadow, it's Reciprocity trying to make a move. Only Natus currently standing for Vitality, if I'm not mistaken.
M19 sweeping DA up into 14th place. So you see that wall of smoke. Rafi's going for it. They know that Natus is the last man standing. He needs to try and get in there as quick as possible. Throws the smoke in the stairwell as Rafi tries to make this push. Is he just going to go straight aggressive through the smoke? Iron sighting it up? No. Chooses to hold on. Here's the nades. I think that's his teammates' nades as well, actually.
That's got Kramer.
That's Kramer. Oh, TSM in trouble. That's Gustav going to go down with that nade. That's going to finish him off.
Look at this snake train. Nasus has 3 players working towards him now, and I don't see a nade on him. I think he just switched out to a smoke. No, just smokes here, and he's got the finest of angles. This is horrible for Nasus.
That's a doozy going aggressive in the picture-in-picture as well, so he's trying to push up on TSM. Look how close he's got. They got Gustav back on his feet somehow. Don't know how. The doozy on the push. Wookie down low. Got to try and get aggressive here. Gustav's been downed again. Now Pokemon Lado's joined him as Fuzzface finishes off ENCE on the hillside. The Rustamar goes down. I should never mention his name, I guess, but Shadow has been finished by Rafi.
Yeah, FaZe are the winners of the hill for now. G2 are at the foot of it, but that southern side is far from finding a resolution. You've got CrowCrowd, M19, Knights. Everyone's over here, but look at this Na'Vi trying to sweep towards TSM, and Gustav on the receiving end. Already Rory's been knocked. It's Wookie going down as well. Michael last alive, and not for long.
Yeah, it didn't work out. That's a really nice push once again by Na'Vi. We've seen it so many times. So TSM go down. Menox actually stole a kill away. Meanwhile, it's mutually assured destruction between CIS teams, CrowCrowd and M19. Nades back and forth. Wanderer looks like the last man standing. He caused so many problems in the last game for Unity. This time he needs to go aggressive. He's not going to get elite player back up. He needs to push.
Yeah, Wanderer, he's trying to consider his choices. It's actually 80 to catch off Chris, so as much as G2 rolled off that hill, they were on the far east side of it. They went down south, and it's not gone very well for them either, trying to work through that small wooded area, and it's gone poorly.
Look at Raise Your Edge spreading. We can see them on the map. They've gone for a 2-2 spread around Hospital, just making sure there's nobody coming out of Georgia Ball, and there's not. It's completely clear. There goes G2. There goes the Knights as well. M19 also following. So just back to back to back. Kate, the last man standing for G2, but I don't think that's going to last too much longer. And NIP, they've played this compound a lot of times. I want to see them try and step up here. You know, they're one of the teams that are chasing this top 5 pack. FaZe Clan being one of them. TSM now just gone out. Na'Vi, of course, in there as well. Also, could be a big round for Reciprocity if they can play it right.
It certainly could be. Raise Your Edge. I'm loving this northern position. It's very tricky to work from, though, into the next circle, as you guys have just seen it. It's very much at the mercy of Unity's compound and FaZe. But if they can somehow work it out with vehicles or whatever, that's the nade that did it. Oh, that's rough. But yeah, if they can work a way to get into that northern side, they're in a really nice position. I'm wondering what else they have to work with here.
Remember ENCE versus Team Liquid, we almost saw them come out on top from this position that Razor Edge are in. Kemba being found, I tell you what, FaZe Clan is just picking people off from that mountain at the moment, aren't they? Set the last man standing, he's going to make a run for it, but really, where's he going to go? He has to use the smokes to get across the road, but then he runs into NIP. But they are now in trouble, maybe. Na'Vi pulling up on the roadside near them, though. They've got someone paying attention to Set, that's for sure. Miraku and Gaxi looking his way.
Yeah, Orange is looking like he wants to get into this, though. Look at Orange for Unity right next to Na'Vi over the road. So not an easy position to hold, but that circle going to start pushing forward. Reciprocity pushing towards Set. Set's, I think, the last one standing. He's trying to make a mad dash for it. Just going to try and get in somewhere safe. Nowhere is safe,
no.
Apparently. Is Gaxi going to just remind him of that?
Shadows on the move. Sorry, Nasus on the move for Vitality. Still causing problems. Now, FaZe have just repositioned with 2 vehicles on the mountain, so they give themselves a bit of cover on that mountainside as well. NIP looking towards Na'Vi and Unity, all on the same edge as we watch Nasus. Well, the nades are coming his way. He's going to try and push it. He was. Basically, all those frags he's got, most of them were Reciprocity. So he is the bane of Reciprocity. And finally, he has been slain by Rafi.
Nice work from Rafi to have patience, hold the exit. Now, let's have a look at what we have here. We have Na'Vi in a good position. Could be pressured by NIP potentially, but I think they're aware of the lines of sight.
FaZe are not really paying that much attention to Reciprocity, I feel. Okay, now they are. Now they've just spun around. Both Uber and Fuzz are looking straight down on someone. I'm thinking if they were not careful, then there is an approach that Reciprocity could have there. MBS, though, he's got a clear line of sight, doesn't he? Straight onto Na'Vi. That smoke is really what's keeping them alive.
Yeah, and NIP have pushed out of the compounds. You've got VOD pushing out, Miraku pushing out. They're all looking towards the eastern side, where currently Reciprocity are waiting in those forested areas, kind of trying to play that low ground to obscure vision from FaZe, but it's pick your poison. Which way do you want to go here? Banking on that circle, maybe staying south, but it looks like they're being closed in on. Let's see where that goes. It's swung north. So NIP now in a bit of bother. Na'Vi, similar position. They have to cross the road at some point, and that's perfectly in line of sight to Unity. FaZe, perfectly fine. They can kind of adjust over. Raise your edge, very good spot for them.
I'd say it's pretty problematic for NIP as well. I mean, obviously, Reciprocity are the worst dealt hand here. They've got to make some sort of play. NIP, you can see, have Miraku and Co. staring straight at him. Na'Vi going to make that play by the looks of it. Smoke's starting to go out, but Fuzz has got an angle on Reciprocity, looking at every rock, tree he can find, seeing if he can get an angle. It's very dangerous, this move, because if he does get knocked, he's going to be pretty exposed to Reciprocity to finish him.
Yeah, I'm looking at what he's got in the bank. His economy's a little low in the form of nades. So he's got 2 left, but late game, you need everything you can have. So I'm wondering late game if he's going to be okay for that. Reciprocity need to find a way in, though, and it feels like they're just trying to bide their time here. Look for options, maybe NIP get engaged on, or something that would open up for them, and that might happen because Na'Vi could potentially go for that, but this is going to be so tricky. All these teams in the south are waiting for that first strike.
Now they're going. Here we go. Naduzi over the road. Here, see where he can get to a ditch. Can he find something? He pulls up right next to Orange and instantly gets down. It's actually back to back who it goes, and it's going to be Raise Your Edge that will steal the kill. They also get a doozy as he makes the move. Now Reciprocity trying to make a play as well, but Miraku catches Rafi as they try and push up.
Yeah, this is about to get hectic here. Na'Vi, I think, knew their days were numbered. They looked at several options, and none of them were going to bode well for them. NIP playing it late. They're going to try and catch Reciprocity, clear that southern side, and then try and focus on whoever engages, which would either be FaZe or Unity.
Uber.
And Uber, Haxetti, nice control there towards Miraku.
Yeah, FaZe have decided to back away from this one. They realize Reciprocity in trouble, but I tell you what, Fuzzface is in trouble. He's getting pinned by Raise Your Edge. Na'Vi will go down in 6th place. Unity collect that. They have 4 in the bag as well. Rafi and Miraku both bleeding out to the blue. That's not ideal for NIP. You need to make a move now with Haxetti, the last man standing, going down in 5th.
Nice work from Gaxi. This gives them a shot, but also they had to do that. It was either potentially die to FaZe and Unity and get no points, or take down Reciprocity and just play last men out, which actually has kind of boded well considering FaZe have had to work towards the other side of the hill.
So the way this circle tends to go, Unity actually have the stronger position because it tends to swing this way. We'll see. This is almost similar to the final game at FaZe Global Summit,
yes,
isn't it? With OP Rangers in that exact same position. And I believe it was
the North American Heroes.
It was the North American Heroes coming down that were in FaZe's position, and Raise Your Edge were the teams that played the role of, I think it was Envy, wasn't it, that threw the nade out.
I think so.
and managed to save the day for the PEL,
Okay, here we go.
giving them an extra spot. But here we go. Circle's going to shrink. Where will it go? It's centers up.
Orange has had a bit of a problem there. He overextended to try and get NIP. That's opening him up towards FaZe, so that's a big loss. Unity might have really dropped the ball on that. They could have had 4 then. Yeah,
now they realize they're going to try and smoke it across, but look at Frolica. I think he's holding the angle. Sigzy certainly is. He's got a perfect little view on Dastish, trying to track the silhouette, see if he can catch anything. Sees them both in the car now. It's going to be a time signal from everyone from Razor Edge. Shoot that Dacia. NIP are pushed on FaZe.
Oh, look at Fuzzface, though. Look at this little snake in the grass. Do they know it? He's just behind the ridgeline, so when they crest, they probably won't be pre-aiming that. But the call's surely getting made. He's going to have heard those steps. That's why Mexi, ENCE are all responding. NIP just to the furthest hill, trying to take down Unity on the way. Maybe just a bit of a land grab, trying to get anything they can at this point, but ENCE sprays in, going to catch Gaxi in the side. And this now gets very, very problematic. Both teams very even position. Good nade towards Gaxi from Mexi. And now the damage comes in. It's Unity diving in on this, trying to get that third party. ENCE finds NBS, NIP on the receiving end.
Yeah, FaZe, this was a trap lying waiting. And there's the nade to finish it off. Mexi will collect it. NIP go down in 4th place, and that eliminates their problem. They still have 4 on their feet. Unity down to 2, and Razor Edge still with 4 in the north. 3, sorry, Unity. They've got 3 in that little shack. Or the toilet, as the Asians like to call this.
That's it. Anything's a toilet if you're brave enough. Now, fast rail.
Peek again if you dare.
That's when you need Chris. But you know what, fast rail, I believe in you. They're not going to peek that far into that shed anymore. But the thing is, that's not actually in the circle yet.
Mix is moving.
That's the next problem for them. Razor Edge have actually a really nice little bit of area to work with. I forgot that there's a hill that comes down that far. Yeah. That's not bad. Now they just need to not feed, basically.
Frolica just in that tiniest of ditches. He's actually outside the circle, so he needs to edge up. And Uber's kind of got his number. Yeah, as you can see, they're trying to buy him the time to just peek up. It's like whack-a-mole for Uber right now as he keeps peeking back and forward between the two, moving tree to tree.
Yeah, Mexi's got a really good spot. He's kind of leapfrogged further forward. They do have these trees to work with, whereas I think Razor Edge don't have as much foliage to try and play in towards late game, but for now it's Unity who are under most of the pressure here. Depending on smokes for now, it's going to be a bit of a tree game coming out soon to have to work with that, and I'm worried Razor Edge are being so passive here. The circle's moved away. They need to kind of consider where they need to step to. Next FaZe can still just roll off this hill all the way down. That's what they want to do, but they need to get rid of one of these teams.
Oh, and it's going to be Unity. They're in trouble. Blaston's found. He's going to be picked off. Now the shot's coming through. Everyone's just lighting up into the smoke. You can see Tizzerin's trying to do the same in return. Has a real idea where Fuzz is, but he's behind that rock. The circle has kind of gone to Unity, so they can hold position if they can get to some of these trees and try and keep an angle. The problem is there's no real position because they've got FaZe on the right, and then Razor Edge have got such a flanking position. If they get to the tree, they're going to get shot from the other side.
Yeah, it's very hard to win from this. Dastish already realizing that the angle is so good for FaZe. But Razor Edge have not capitalized yet. They were taking their time now. Smoke's going in. They're going to have the lower side of the ground to play with. But look at the cover that's on FaZe's side in comparison to Razor Edge. Razor Edge now may have just dropped the ball slightly. I want to see what cover they have coming into this one. And I don't think it's a great deal. They need to take down some of the players on the extremity here. This is a 4v4 situation, a rare ending.
Yeah, a very rare ending. 4 kills for Razor Edge, and I think FaZe have got maybe 10. Yeah, they do. And now they're going to line the shots. There's a big headshot with ENCE's spray catches fast rail. He has to back in with the bolt action, and Uber's nade gets close enough, and that surely did the damage. Razor Edge down to 2 as FaZe go aggressive. They just mow down the cover that Sigzy had. You cannot hide behind that wooden cover, and FaZe just smash it. It's Uber that gets all 4 members of Razor Edge. Incredible stuff. We're back in Erangel. We're back in FaZe Clan's backyard.